Andrews, where he won the Open twice.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
The Early Line with Mario and Musso. Mario and Musso have your early line on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I mean, we're just here to have fun and win and have fun by winning.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, here's Mario Jerez and Matt Musso.
And a good Friday afternoon. Welcome in, Matt Musso, alongside Mario Jerez to my right. We have your early line. Casey Gaines and Taylor Sharp on the audio and video boards. Mario, we made it to another Friday. We have another jam-packed show. Obviously, next week is SEC Football Media Day, so we'll have plenty of college football talk, specifically in the Southeastern Conference. It might just be like Win Total Wednesday each day, have a little win total segment
pretty much
on the teams that are going at SEC Media Days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But today, we'll get a little bit of a preview at that. Carter Bryant from Power Hour LSU on YouTube. He'll stop by at 2:30, talk some SEC football, some win totals, some media days, things of that nature. And, look, we have daily spread and a couple other picks to give out as well today. How are you?
Very excited. Doing awesome, Musso. Getting ready to take a mini trip here after the show to Biloxi. Hopefully cash some more winners tonight with the Summer League. Shout out to the Reds, too, for coming through for me yesterday. A little upset I didn't make the money line play, but it's been a pretty solid week over here.
You didn't take the plunge all the way last night with the money line, but nonetheless, Cat did cash that ticket with the Reds. And, hey, man, you leaving right after the show to go to Biloxi?
Got to stop by Kenner real quick to get some stuff. But, yes, Then we are off to Mississippi after that.
Well, hey, enjoy the trip. Enjoy the weekend. That's a heck of a way. Kind of rest, recharge a little bit before next week, which is a very busy week around these parts.
That's right, and it's my version of the Destin trip for you. A little shorter, a little, budget-friendly for your boy over here, but I'm very excited for it nonetheless.
All right, man, look, get it while you can.
Yes, sir.
You get it in while you can.
That's the plan.
All right, let's go ahead and kick things off on Early Line. Here's our daily spread presented by Suspense Games.
Daily. Our daily spread. What are Mario and Musso watching tonight?
I'm talking about big money. Real big money.
This is our daily spread.
Let's send you into the weekend with a no-runs first inning parlay, shall we? Come back around plus $1.59. Maybe $1.61. Some of the odds here have changed a little bit. We'll start with the Phillies taking on the Marlins in Miami. This one minus 175, minus 180. So a big price, hence the reason for the parlay. 5:40 Central Time first pitch. So we're not too far off from this one. You'll have Kyle Gibson facing Sandy Alcantara. Two guys we featured plenty with this angle. Gibson, an impressive 14-3. No runs first inning on the season, has held the opponent to a .219 batting average against in the first inning and walked just 3 in 68 batters faced. Gibson has faced the Fish twice this season already, going 2-0. No runs in the first inning in those matchups. Sandy Alcantara stands 14-4. No runs first inning on the year. 60 first inning batters faced. He's held them to a .167 batting average against. Very impressive. Walks, maybe a little bit of an issue for Sandy. 7 so far on the year, but the damage always light, if at all, in those cases. He has faced the Phillies twice this season as well, going 1-1 to the no runs first inning angle. Look at the lineups. The Marlins 1 out of 10 when it comes to scoring in the first. 1 out of their last 10, I should say. The Phillies 3 out of their last 10. So we ride Kyle Gibson and Sandy Alcantara. Matchup number 2 for you. Dodgers visiting the Angels tonight on the West Coast. This one, minus 150, no runs first inning. First pitch, as always, 8:30, 8 Central Time. Clayton Kershaw, you might have heard of him, versus Patrick Sandoval. Kershaw, again, as you might expect, sparkling first inning numbers, right? 10-1 on the year. The opponent hits just a $143, has walked 5, has not allowed a home run. He's been Clayton Kershaw. Sandoval, a very respectable 11-3 to the no runs angle here in the first inning. 143 batting average against, likewise to Kershaw. 6 walks in 57 batters faced and only 1 home run allowed. So solid numbers for both. Look, we know the Dodgers lineup is elite and they can ruin this at any given moment. So it's not even really worth diving into their stats. The Angels, on the other hand, have only tallied a first inning run in 2 of their last 10. so they've hit the skids a little here lately. Mike Trout also listed day-to-day for tonight's game, so we ride. Dodgers, Angels, no runs first inning. Parlay them together with the Marlins and the Phillies plus $1.59.
All right, baseball version of El Tráfico. We like it. I'm staying in Major League Baseball for my first play, and I'm looking at under 14.5 outs recorded for the Pirates' Jose Quintana tonight. This is at a good price, plus 120 odds, and he's facing the Rockies, 8:40 first pitch from Coors Field. And if you watch Quintana this season, you know that he's revived his career a little bit. He's been one of the most effective lefties in all of Major League Baseball this season. But tonight he faces a Rockies team that has the second best lineup against left-handed pitching. If you look at their team batting average, they are hitting .287 right now against lefties, which is really impressive. And Quintana has been good throughout the season, but he also hasn't really gone deep into a lot of games because he allows a lot of traffic on the bases. His whip is at 1.31, and he only averages 5 innings per start. That could explain the price there, but I do like it. So give me under 14.5 outs recorded for the Pirates' Jose Quintana at Coors Field tonight.
All right, love it. And Coors Field. And look, man, that could knock a pitcher out real quick, old Coors Field. Orioles, they visit the Rays. The Rays are your favorite in this game, minus $1.30, a 6:10 Central first pitch from the Trop, which is a dump. Keep that in mind. Tyler Wells for Baltimore versus Luis Patino for the Rays. The O's, man, one of the hottest teams in all of baseball, riding a 10-game winning streak, which is the second longest in the show, and that has gotten them all the way back to one game over 500. In fact, every team in the American League East now is over 500. It is the toughest division in the bigs. And you should like their chances tonight in this one. Tyler Wells, their starter, has been really, really good for them. And they've enjoyed playing behind him too, winning his last 8 starts. The Rays, on the other hand, well, they're looking for a bullpen game tonight. Patino will start, and he will be making only his second appearance of the season. So you know he's not going deep in this one. His other only appearance with the big club, it was short and unsuccessful. 2/3 of an inning pitched with an ERA of 13.5. The small sample size is as much part of the reason to fade as the tough outing in the small sample size. The O's are hot, and 10 games in a row should be enough just out of obligation with plus money to at least sprinkle, but they also should have the advantage on the mound tonight. So, moneyline sprinkle out of obligation on the Baltimore Orioles, plus 110.
We like it. You know where I'm going next, Musso. Touched on the odds for the Pelicans to win the Summer League yesterday, but if that's going to happen, they had to take care of business tonight against the LA Lakers. The Pelicans are 2.5-point favorite. At least that's where I got them. I'll see it's up to 3 in some books, but I would definitely still make the play here. 9 p.m. tip from Las Vegas, and if you've been keeping up with the show, you know that the Summer League started awful for the Pelicans. They lost their first game by 17 points. All 3 of their draft picks are injured, but they can still advance to the Summer League Championship with the win against the Lakers tonight. But they also must keep the point differential. Remember, they need to win, and they need to win with style points if they're able to. But the good news for the Pelicans is, since they play the last game tonight, a late tip, they should know exactly how many points they need to win by to reach the title game on Sunday. And if you're making this play, you're rooting for the Pelicans. You're also rooting against Portland, Memphis, and Phoenix tonight. So down with the Blazers, the Grizzlies, and the Suns. And if you listened to the show yesterday, you know that I had a little bit of fun. You know, we haven't heard of a lot of these guys, but I legitimately give them credit, Musso. They're seizing the opportunity, and they're beating some teams with some more notable players. They really put Johnny Davis and the Wizards in hell the other day, and some other teams too along the way. And Jared Harper has been a big part of that. He's putting up 16.7 points per game, the ex-Auburn point guard. I gave a lot of love on the show yesterday to Dividas Servides, who's putting up 14 points per game. He's actually an interesting player, Musso, because he's a really good shooter. He made 6 3-pointers in the game yesterday, and with the E.J. Liddell injury, the ACL tear, maybe that opens the door for him, at least in the beginning of the season, just because he's a shooter and the Pelicans need him. And not just the players, too. Let's not forget about Jaron Collins, who's also trying to show out as a Summer League head coach. He's really good friends with Willie Green, joined the staff in New Orleans last season after 8 years in Golden State, where he met Willie Green, and he's done a pretty good job, all things considered, trying to win some hardware for his Summer League team. And on the other side, the Summer Lakers not playing very well as a team. they are 1-2. And when it comes to their players, a little bit more recognizable, you'll see a lot of Scottie Pippen Jr., who's been taking a bunch of shots for the Summer Lakers. Was just talking about it with Hilly outside the door there. And Sharif O'Neal from LSU is there too, Shaq's son. Honestly, not really much to report on the Summer Lakers besides that. They haven't really been good as a team compared to the Summer Pelicans. So all that being said, I'm sticking with my 16-1 play from the start of Summer League, which, by the way, is now down to 4-1 for the Pelicans to win the Summer League title. And I'm also backing the Summer Pels to win and cover against the Summer Lakers tonight. Hit it, Casey.
Summer League makes me feel fine.
I hope Sharif O'Neal scores 30 points and the Lakers lose by 30 points.
Hell yeah.
Go Pels.
Go Pels. And I'm also rooting for Sharif O'Neal.
Yeah, we want Sharif to have some success. That's our daily spread. Wraps it up for you here. Brought to you, of course, by Suspense Games. Get over to suspenseevents.com. Hit up our guys Spencer and Tyler Hunt and upgrade your game night. Upgrade a company team building with Suspense. It is a live-action trivia game show that is brought to you. Games take 45 minutes. You can play 2, 3, 4. They host trivia nights for restaurants all around Baton Rouge and greater Baton Rouge. So if you're looking to get some new faces into your restaurant, why don't you host a trivia night? Do it with our guys with Suspense Games at suspenseevents.com.
That's right. You may have seen them already. They're live every Tuesday for Trivia Night at Burgersmith in Baton Rouge on Perkins Road. They're also live every Wednesday at the Burgersmith in Denham Springs at 6:30. Remember, they have lights, they have confetti, they have podium. It's just like you're on television. So whether you're looking for a really competitive game night, some team building, or you want to take your party experience to a whole new level, Suspense Games is ready to bring a live game show experience right to you. So check out their website at suspenseevents.com and upgrade your game night with Suspense Games.
We will grab a break, come back on the other side, start to set up the interview with Carter Bryant a little bit, talk some SEC football, media days. Also want to get you an update from the Open Championship, maybe look at some of the latest live odds there, as there's been plenty of action at the Old Course at St. Andrews today. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. It's Early Line, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Mario and Musso, the Early Line. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty.
trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
For Mondays, Off the Bench, as T-Bob and Hester will both be back in the host chair. We'll have a new edition of Weekend Winners, and Hold the Mayo joins the show for Spread Lines. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Musso. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hudco Roofing brings you live coverage of the 2022 SEC Football Media Days this Monday, July 18th through Thursday, July 21st. Coverage is also brought to you locally by Jerry Lane, Rejuvame, and by DraftKings. We will be covering the event all week, like Musso told you in the last segment. AFR and OTB will both be there in Atlanta in person. We'll be in studio from here along with our guys Hunt and Hill. We'll also be doing our best to get some boots on the ground reporting from Atlanta with some potential guests, so stay tuned for that. I always look forward to this kind of thing, Musso. I know it's more work for us, and I know some people say it's a lot of coach speak and a whole lot of nothing, but for me, it means that we're closer to football season, and it's an excuse to talk about college football. So for that, I'm happy. Are you pumped?
Yeah, no, I am. I mean, SEC Football Media Days, while, yeah, sure, a lot of coach speak, it is always interesting, and I think you can get a lot out of the players that are brought there normally. Normally, they may be a little bit more forthcoming with certain things. Hell, you'll remember last year at SEC Football Media Days is when the Texas and Oklahoma news broke, and that kind of just turned everything on its head. Yeah, so, I mean, it's always an exciting week. It's a very busy week, but for one thing, it goes by in a flash. Like it really does.
It goes by fast, and I'm sure there's going to be some underlying storylines that we're going to talk about. Brian Harsin on the hot seat, Jimbo and Saban's beef from the offseason, but I'm excited to talk some actual football and some matchups, and of course, for the purpose of the show, some odds. So I thought before we talk to Carter, we could quickly reset the odds just to win the SEC, just so everybody can know how it kind of stands, at least according to the sports book. Alabama right now, the betting favorite to win the conference.
Shocker.
No surprise there. They're also the only team that doesn't pay back plus money if they win the conference. Georgia at plus 155, not far behind. Texas A&M way out there at 18-1, and then it really goes down to books there with Florida at plus 4,500, 45-1. Not really surprised by the odds there. Maybe some good value if you believe in UGA still, but Alabama clearly the class of the SEC, and that will be reflected throughout the festivities next week, as it is every year.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is drawing a clear line there between the top of the league and the rest of the league, and the top of the league is Alabama and Georgia. A&M, obviously, we know they'll be out to prove a lot with the 18 top 100 players that they're bringing in to campus this year, so there'll be plenty of high expectation on the Aggies with people around maybe nationally in college football and definitely within College Station, Texas. But Vegas, I mean, still 18-1 when you consider the next shortest odds is Georgia at plus 155. That kind of shows you the clear demarcation that Vegas has drawn in the Southeastern Conference. And I don't think anybody listening to this show right now is actually really surprised by that.
No, not at all. And we'll see if anybody listening to the show actually puts down money on Alabama. But I do think a lot of people will put down money on Georgia. They're interesting as the defending national champions coming into this season because the Bulldogs lost a lot, similar to LSU in 2019. 15 players to the draft, including George Pickens, the receiver, both of their running backs, Samir White and James Cook, and also Jermaine Burton, their wide receiver, transferred to Alabama in what was a total punk move, in my opinion. But they do bring back some key players as well, including QB Stetson Bennett, if that does anything for you. Also defensive lineman Jalen Carter and linebacker Nolan Smith back amongst others. I think Georgia should be good. I think Kirby Smart's a really good coach. He's going to be able to sustain success there. But if they do falter a little bit, just based on them being young, it's not insane to think we can have a surprise champion if a team like Tennessee steps up, puts some things together, if you're really going out there like a South Carolina. But Georgia is the class of the West, of the East, coming into this event, and that's reflected in the odds.
The East is what's such a big part of that, right? I mean, it's the weaker division. I mean, Florida should take a step in the right direction already in first year under Billy Napier. Can they really compete with Georgia on that level there right now? Maybe not. Could you get them one game at the cocktail party? Maybe. But, I mean, it's football. Anybody can be beaten on any given day, right, I guess, but especially in college. But, yeah, I mean, Georgia, it's set up for Georgia to have a really nice road back to Atlanta this year. Their schedule's not overly difficult. Playing in the East helps that. Kentucky has been kind of that next in line in the East for the last couple of seasons, but even when they've played Georgia, it just hasn't really been a contest. They lost a lot. They recruited extremely well. They will plug and play, and Georgia will roll on.
Yeah, it's the quarterback advantages in the opinions of many people. I think that maybe give some of those teams like a Tennessee with Hooker. South Carolina brings in Spencer Rattler. In a best-case scenario, maybe they're good. So I think that would be the counter-argument to maybe Georgia falling down the ranks a little.
And the counter-argument to that is Stetson Bennett just won a national championship. Who the hell cares?
Very
I mean,
true.
it works. It works.
It worked last year. They got to replace a lot. That's not a foregone conclusion.
They will replace. I mean, they will replace. That is a foregone conclusion. They have no shortage of talent in Athens.
Okay.
To just plug and play. Now, can you plug and play at the level that Alabama has over the last? Maybe not, but I mean, I'm kind of through doubting Stetson Bennett. I've doubted the guy forever, but I mean, it works. What they have with him there works.
I just think other teams got better. And Georgia, yes, they're reloading. They have a really good team, but again, it's unproven talent while other teams are getting better. So it's not impossible to think that maybe they don't win the division. But we'll see. Got a lot of time to talk about it, and got a lot of time to talk about some other storylines as well, including some quarterback battles across the conference, because they do have a good amount of them. Obviously here at LSU, Jaden Daniels duking it out with Miles Brennan and Garrett Nussmeier. Auburn has a three-way battle as well with our friend TJ Finley, Texas A&M transfer Zach Calzada, and Oregon transfer Robbie Ashford. And speaking of Texas A&M, let's talk about our other friend Max Johnson, who's in a three-way battle right now for the Aggies starting quarterback spot, duking it out with Haynes King and Connor Wegman, who has a lot of upside in the minds of a lot of Aggies fans as a five-star freshman. I think that QB battle's intriguing. I think the one at Auburn is as well, and obviously we're paying a lot of attention to the one here at LSU. But all three of those QB battles will be discussed at length next week.
Yeah, I mean, A&M is the most, outside of obviously the local, like if obviously LSU is, but I mean, if you put that on the back burner, A&M's more intriguing than Auburn because I think A&M actually has a chance to compete just because of the talent they brought in. They'll have some youth at some spots, but they're just going to be so talented that if they get the right signal caller in there, whether it be Max, whether it be Haynes King, whether it be the freshman that you mentioned, whomever it is, they have that talent to make noise. Auburn just doesn't. I mean, Auburn's choosing between Zach Calzada and TJ Finley. That's not really there are better options.
100%. We saw a decent amount of TJ Finley last year. Started really well, didn't really end so well. And we know Bo Nix is at Oregon now, so we don't have to talk about him as much this season.
And Zach Calzada stinks.
Yes.
He's just not good.
Last year, he didn't look very good. Was hitting people in the helmets and whatnot. I still remember that. And speaking of Auburn, a team that you touched on there in a second, I'm kind of intrigued to see Brian Harsin speak to the media because we covered all the hoopla that happened over the offseason. Apparently, a lot of influential people at Auburn just straight up didn't like him, tried to force him out. And he addressed a lot of that within the local media at Auburn, but he's going to have to address it again. And oddly enough, a coach that started really good at Auburn, 5-2, beat LSU, had some other unexpected wins too, including the one against Texas A&M, but they ended terribly, and somehow, some way, he has found himself kind of on the hot seat here.
Yeah, no, outside of everyone trying their best to revive the rivalry between Jimbo and Saban, which I don't think you're going to have much success at doing that, but it will be attempted. Harsin might be one of the most interesting to hear speak because of the tumultuous offseason that he had and just the smoke surrounding his job status heading into this year. I mean, that's going to be fascinating, and that's going to be a very uncomfortable media session for Brian Harsin.
Yes, and it should be entertaining to watch, though, if you're not an Auburn fan. So SEC Media Days kicks off on Monday with LSU.
Even if you are an Auburn fan, some of them might find it very entertaining.
That's true. They might be divided, kind of like the players there for Brian Harsin that had some conflicting quotes over the offseason. But like I was saying, Monday we'll kick off the festivities with LSU, Missouri, and Ole Miss, and we're looking forward to covering the SEC Media Days for you all week next week. I am excited. I know my guy Carter the Power Bryant is pumped up as well. We'll talk to him on the other side here on Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Luso. 104.5 ESPN. This week on DropBiscuit.com or wherever you listen to podcasts is our new series, Pops, the Louis Armstrong story. Pops is brought to you by New Orleans & Company. Check out NewOrleans.com and come visit New Orleans.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Jonah inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The Right Radio Hours return. Ask Ryan, Kick Rocks, Otter Locks from Del Mar. Join us, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're getting the early line with Mario and Musso on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here on the early line, kind of getting you a primer set for next week's SEC football media days before we dive headfirst into that on Monday's show and then continue it throughout the week. We'll continue that right now by welcoming on Carter the Power Bryant, host of the Power Hour LSU on YouTube. Check him out on Twitter at Carter the Power. One of our good friends, one of our great guests, one of our favorite guests. Carter, how are we doing today?
Hey, just enjoying this nervous feeling in my stomach. SEC Media Days around the corner. The season is nearly upon us. Let's go.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, look, Monday is kind of the unofficial, official start of SEC football season, and you kind of answered it there. But I mean, you excited?
Oh yeah, I kind of miss going to SEC Media Days. I tweeted out a photo this week. I interviewed Marcus Spears, I think back in 2017, and he was doing a sponsorship with a sausage company, a hot dog company, and I got to have free dogs and interview Swagoo, man. That was like one of my favorite moments. So, yeah, SEC Media Day is kind of boring just from the outside looking in, but if you actually go, it's actually a lot of fun.
Okay, that kind of answered my question, but I'm going to answer anyway. Is there anything in particular in terms of like content you're looking forward to? Like we have some storylines, the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban beef from the offseason, Brian Harsin addressing the masses after an awkward offseason over there at Auburn, and then some actual football talk because a lot of the coaches, Carter, have been talking a lot of NIL, transfer portal. Now they're going to actually talk about their team and their challenges that they're going to face this season. So is there anything in particular you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I just don't think it can get any bigger than Saban and Jimbo going head-to-head and bickering back and forth, right? Those are the two most high-profile coaches in the conference, especially obviously Saban and Jimbo and their history. So when that actually happened, I just don't think you'll ever see an A-list coaching beef that big. So no matter what happens this next week, barring just something absolutely ridiculous, you're not going to see anything as explosive as that. I think, whenever that did happen, I know we've all kind of moved on and we saw Saban and Prime do their Aflac commercial. You know, what Nick said at that time was just so big. I just doubt now, especially with all the blowback that both of them got after that, I just doubt you'll see anything that big, but you never really know in this conference.
I wanted to talk a little bit now, actually, kind of about the football and specifically the East. We were just kind of having a conversation in the previous segment. Who out of the East can challenge Georgia?
Nobody, right? Like, at this point, you look at Anthony Richardson, AR-15 at quarterback. That's obviously a very talented dual-threat guy that has a lot of draft potential. And, he's got the talent to eventually slide into the first round. So does Hendon Hooker and even Spencer Rattler to a certain degree. As far as I'm concerned, I would say Tennessee is a better team than South Carolina and Florida. It's just when you have to play Alabama every year, and because of the cross-division rival rule, you draw at LSU. That's just a brutal draw when it comes to the SEC, right? And, you could say the same for South Carolina. You could say the same for Florida. Their schedules are also really difficult. But for me, Tennessee, having the quarterback that they have and the coach that they have and the offensive weapons that they have, it just kind of stinks for Vols fans. I mean, I'm not going to cry about Tennessee fans, but it kind of stinks that, you draw at LSU on the road this year. And for me, from an LSU perspective, I think that's the most fascinating game on LSU's schedule because not only do you have to pay this high-powered offense, Tennessee's going to be coming off a bye week going into Baton Rouge. So it's really, really fascinating.
I think Arkansas is also a fascinating team with their win total set at 7.5. I don't think they're going to challenge Alabama or anything, but they're looking to build off of a lot of success the last 2 years, and they have a really deadly schedule too. They had to play some tough road games, including an out-of-conference game in Provo against BYU, but they bring back a lot of really good players. Catalan and Poole on defense. Both the coordinators are back, and they're two of the best coordinators in the conference, in my opinion. What do you think are realistic expectations for the Hogs this year?
Yeah, I think their out of conference is by far the most fascinating. I wouldn't say it's the absolute toughest out of conference game, but they play Cincinnati to start the year. That's just such a fascinating matchup. Obviously, we'll see what Cincinnati looks like without Denbrock and without Ritter at quarterback. And then, of course, at BYU before the bye week, where they finish with at Auburn, tricky game versus Liberty, LSU, Ole Miss, at Missouri. So, I mean, from start to finish, Arkansas has the least amount of surefire automatic wins, but that's the case every year for the Hogs. And, if you could say one thing about Arkansas, I know we don't talk too much about the Battle of the Golden Boot and that rivalry, whatnot, but what's really crazy about Arkansas is every single year they have a top 3 toughest schedule in the SEC, and oftentimes they're voted the toughest schedule in college football.
I'd love a thought on Texas A&M because, I mean, obviously there's been so much talk about them throughout the college football offseason with recruiting and whatnot. But the fact of the matter is, no matter how they did it, they have a lot of talent coming into campus this year, 18 top 100 recruits. They have a quarterback battle, but expectations are obviously very high in College Station, and it feels like the rest of the SEC and maybe the rest of the country to an extent is kind of just sitting back waiting for them to fall on their face to make Texas 8-4 jokes again. How do you see the Aggies this season?
Yeah, I hate where Alabama falls on the schedule for them. I mean, they have to go back-to-back road games. That's never good. And this is just the case with Jimbo Fisher. And I know for me personally, I make Jimbo Fisher jokes pretty much every night on Power Hour LSU, and I know people get tired of it, but there is one major flaw to Jimbo Fisher, and that's his road play calling, right? We saw it last year in Baton Rouge. The offense was a mess, and just throughout his tenure, if you look at his home and road splits, you look at his yard per play numbers, the drastic change in those two things is just so huge. So for me, I just can't believe in Texas A&M until I actually see a Jimbo Fisher offense look scary. And I know they get Chris Marshall, they get Evan Stewart, 2 really nice 5-star players. You expect at least one of those guys to break out. But, man, I just don't fear Texas A&M outside of the lines. Their defensive line is going to be one of the best in the country. They brought in arguably the best defensive line class of all time this last cycle. And, year in and year out, Bryce Foster and that offensive line, they're always going to be solid. So we'll see. But I all jokes aside, I just never can ever buy into a Jimbo Texas A&M offense until I actually see it happen.
Carter the Power Bryant is our guest here on the Early Line, a Friday edition. And hopping back to the East for a second, I want to ask your thoughts on Kentucky. Their win total set at under 8.5 wins this year. And I think Will Levis is a very interesting fellow. He likes to drink butter in his coffee, and he likes to eat bananas with the peel still on it. And I think Kentucky's an interesting team. Have established a little bit of consistency under Stoops the last few years. What do you think are realistic expectations for the Wildcats?
Semi-favorable schedule. I mean, look, this is a team that knows what they are, right? They return their quarterback, they return their running back, and obviously we've seen Stoops coach at a really high level. I'm not in love with them per se. Obviously that schedule just sets up very, very nicely for them. I'm staying away, though. Obviously, I would say they have by far the easiest schedule in the SEC with Miami of Ohio, Youngstown, Northern Illinois, Vanderbilt, obviously, and a Louisville team that lost their best receiver to Alabama in the portal. I'm still staying away just because I just don't see Will Levis being who everyone says he is. Now, for me, the team that's most fascinating, and Mario, when you asked me to come on the show, you said we're going to talk about win totals. I really am interested in Missouri, right? I know Missouri's like the least sexiest team in the SEC. No one ever talks about Missouri, whatever. This is a team, obviously, that was so bad defensively. They brought in Steve Wilkes, who to me was the Bo Pelini defensive hire of last year. their defense magically got worse. I didn't think that was going to be possible. And now they bring in Blake Baker, and we saw what Blake did at LSU last year. And, of course, he wasn't necessarily calling the plays, but you saw what he did with that linebacking core, and I think he's going to be an improvement for them. Just depending on which book you look at. I mean, I know they float at around 5.5, 6 wins. Man, they brought in one of their best recruiting classes, and Luther Burden, the number one receiver in the country. Lots of comparisons in the dynasty community and just in the scouting community to Jamar Chase. Once again, that is really, really, really high praise, but I see it. I mean, he's a really special talent. So if you can see him winning a game or two for them and them getting steady quarterback play and just slightly better defense, I kind of like Missouri and how some things set up for them.
Carter, while we have you for a few more minutes, we can't not talk about LSU, obviously. So I guess let's start with the win total for them. I mean, it's been a very kind of fluid subject around here. I'm looking at it right now, standing at 7. I've seen some people have it even at 6 or 6.5. What say you on the Tigers' win total?
Yeah, the toughest thing, obviously, is the question that each and every LSU fan on the planet wants to know. It's who's the quarterback going to be, right? And I think the hardest thing for them, and just LSU fans, if you're trying to look at a win total, is that with all these other teams, you kind of have an idea of what they have at quarterback, right? Especially, and I mean especially in the West. Like, we know at Auburn it's going to be Calzada or TJ, whichever way they decide to go. I believe they'll go with Zach. We'll see what happens. At LSU, we just don't know, right? Some people believe it's Miles. Some people believe it's Nuss. Some people believe it's Jaden. I know we all saw the photo shoot where all 4 of the quarterbacks were a part of it yesterday, and that's going to be the biggest thing, right? And that's the hardest thing to determine, with LSU's win total, as far as like picking a side, whether you think they'll be a 6-6 team or an 8-4 team or a push at 7-5. So, yeah, I mean, that's the toughest thing. Obviously the good thing if you are an LSU fan is that the first couple of weeks sets up nicely, and that schedule, as many people know, outside of UAB is really backloaded. Also a later bye week than most teams, and your one bye week coincides with the Alabama bye week. That's been the case every year since 2010. So, yeah, it's difficult. And to me, as far as like picking an over-under there, obviously the LSU fan in me says, over, of course, 7. Are you kidding me? They get the best coach they've had since Nick Saban on paper, and only 7. And that's just a harsh reality, guys. I mean, this is the deepest SEC we've seen in quite some time, really. I mean, when Ed took over in 2017, Arkansas had Chad Morris, they were bad. Joe Moorhead was at Mississippi State, they were mediocre. And then Matt Luke, obviously, at Ole Miss. Now it's just totally different with the great play callers and coaches, and most notably the better quarterback play. So, that drastic change just takes away so many automatic wins that used to pencil in for LSU.
Real quick, Carter, for the sickos out there in the audience, I wanted to ask you about the seller of the SEC, at least when it comes to the win totals here, and that's Vanderbilt. Their total set at over under 2.5, and honestly, I kind of want to pull the trigger on the over, Carter, just because it's plus money, but looking at their schedule, they got Hawaii on the road and Elon at home to start the season, and then after that, it's honestly hard to find a game that you would feel good about them winning. So do you have any thoughts on Vanderbilt and their win total set at 2.5?
Oh, I'm taking the over, baby. The Fighting Clark Lees, baby. Of course we're taking the over here with Vanderbilt. Are you kidding me? I'm supposed to be scared of Hawaii, who was one of the worst teams in college football last year. Granted, Hawaii did play a Week 0 game against UCLA last year, so they have some experience with this spot, maybe. But I'm going with the Fighting Nashvillians, baby. Come on, Vandy. Over all freaking day. Think about all the great Vanderbilt graduates. Let's see, Nate Bargatze. I like Nate. Very good comic. Let's see. I'm sure there's some other great Vanderbilt grads.
Jordan Rogers. Jordan Rogers.
Jordan Rogers. Rooting hard against Scottie Pippen Jr. tonight in the Lakers Summer League team because I got money on the Pelicans Summer League team.
I'm just trying to think of some other Vanderbilt grads, non-sports related. I don't know why I'm just drawing a blank here, but I'm going over with Vanderbilt. I might just do it just because it's fun and it's kind of fun to cheer for that. I mean, they'll beat Elon, and I know Northern Illinois was decent last year. It kind of sucks that they do draw Alabama as their cross-division rival. I don't know if Alabama's going to be able to take care of that one, especially at home. I mean, it's going to be a tough one. But what's interesting for Vanderbilt is that they do, because they do play the Week 0 game, they are the only team in the SEC that theoretically has 2 bye weeks. So, yes, I'm not in love with them, but I'm going to take the over, baby, just because it's fun to root for the underdog.
Oh yeah, right there with you.
Y'all enjoy y'all's overplays on Vanderbilt. I think I'm gonna sit that one out, gang. Not too keen on the doors.
I see you
this
rolling
season.
your eyes when he's counting Elon as a win there. They're gonna take care of business at home.
Look, Vanderbilt played a winless UConn team last year, and it went down to the wire. I'm sorry, I'm not just penciling in Elon as a victory for them. I'm not doing it.
Fair enough.
They might win that game, but Vanderbilt won 1 game last year. They won 1 game last year. It means they lost 3 of their non-conference games. I don't know. I don't know. Carter, we appreciate the time as always, man. Look, y'all check him out on Twitter at Carter the Power. Check out the LSU Power Hour on YouTube as well. Carter, we look forward to having you back again, man. Thank you for the time.
2 Fridays in a row with Mario and Luso. Let's get it. Let's go. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. That's our guy, Carter the Power Bryant. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, close out the week here on Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Early Line, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not 1, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time.
Charles Hennigrove. Join us for another edition of Jimmy Odd's Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Rouge Creole in Perkins Row for the Monday night show. We'll take a look back at SEC Media Days, Day 1. Get you ready for the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. Jimmy Odd's Game Time presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Early Line with Mario and Musso. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up the show here on a Friday, getting ready to head to a little mini vacation. Very excited for that. Very excited for the football season as well. We'll have full coverage of the SEC Media Days next week starting on Monday. So very little probably talk about the NFL next week. I'm sure we'll squeeze some in, but I thought we could end the show with a very interesting bet made at a Caesars Sportsbook. This according to the Action Network. Somebody wagered $1,000 to win $35,000 on Derek Carr winning MVP in the NFL this season. And if you look at DraftKings right now, he's currently listed at plus 2,800 with longer odds than guys like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott. So it's a pretty good price on Derek Carr. He's leading a very good Raiders team and hoping to capitalize on the momentum they established last season when they made the playoffs and gave the Bengals a decent little run for their money there.
A picture that Action Network used on their Twitter for Derek Carr. Come on, man. What are we doing? Get the guy. You can't do the guy like that. It's the one where he's on the sideline. He's looking down his nose kind of, but he's with his eyes kind of like rolled back in his head. Looks kind of evil.
He looked demonic right there,
He did.
man.
He did.
And
He
this
did.
is somebody.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How you going to do our guy like that? Come on.
For sure. And this is somebody who's very spiritual usually, looking very demonic in that picture. But I kind of understand the bet, man. Again, that's a really short price there. And Derek Carr, what he did last year was really impressive, I thought.
Yep.
With everything that happened with John Gruden, they helped lead that team to the playoffs with a special teams coach as their interim coach. No disrespect to Rich Bisaccia, but I just think Derek Carr's leadership was a huge part of what the Raiders were able to accomplish last season. And if you remember, back in 2016, a season they opened the year up against the Saints that year, actually in a Superdome, and won. The Raiders were the number 1 seed more than halfway through that season, but Derek Carr goes down, similar to what happened to Carson Wentz the year after that. But the Raiders that year were rolling, and they arguably had the best team they've had since that year. Some questions, like first-year head coach Josh McDaniels, but I am a big fan of Derek Carr and the Raiders, and I think Taylor over there kind of has me on Raiders Island going into the season in terms of betting on them because they're in a very tough division, but they're the team that has the best price right now, and they have a really good team.
I hope that better also took him to win the division, too, because, I mean, that's what you're expecting to happen if you're going to place that bet on Derek Carr. I'm with you. I think he's one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he's got enough weapons out there to really be dangerous offensively. Josh McDaniels calling plays now. That's going to be something interesting, although, albeit, I mean, look, the one sample size we have of McDaniels as a head coach isn't great. So, that's going to be a hurdle they have to climb over in a very tough division. I'm very much looking forward to the Win Total Wednesday when we get to the AFC West. We're saving it, obviously, because, I mean, it's the best division in the NFL, and it's going to create some great debate. But that is going to be a heck of a segment, and we'll definitely talk more Derek Carr when we get to that.
Yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun, as is the quarterback play in that division. I mean, man, it is going to be exciting. But people in Las Vegas very excited about the Raiders, too, and that's a team that I'm definitely keeping an eye on, along with the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers, who all have great teams and all have really good quarterbacks. So I'm looking forward to that segment, too. Looking forward to the show next week. We will have coverage of SEC Media Days from here. Talk a lot of college football, my man Musso here, and I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to the weekend. You should be looking forward to After Further Review with Matt Moscona. He is coming up next, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Then I sat there, getting high.